Okay, so now we're going to have a look at a different type of stitch, and this is called a mattress stitch. And we have a thing called a horizontal mattress and a vertical mattress, but let me just show you the principle of mattress suturing. You use a mattress stitch where you have a wound that's sometimes under a bit of tension, that has a bit of dead space, and you close it from the base up, and you want to try and distribute the tension of the wound. So with a mattress stitch, you start away from the wound edge and you come out about the same distance that you went in on the other side. Again, use the whole curve of the needle, and as we pull that through, you can see I've gone quite far away from that. Now I could tie that as one stitch if I wanted to and bring those two ends together, but if I wanted to be really accurate and that wound was under a bit of tension, I was struggling to bring that across, then what I could do is to go back to the original starting point. And you do that by going closer to the wound edge on this side, closer to the wound edge on that side, and then you have a mattress suture, because as I pull that together, you can see what's going to happen when I sew that. It's coming together, and it's coming together easily. And what this stitch also does is it everts the wound. It's actually bringing the two wound edges up like a pair of hands clapping together. Another stitch that you can do in this situation is called a pulley stitch. It's called the Australian pulley stitch, and this is a great stitch when you've got a lot of tension within the wound. So I wouldn't be using this all the time, but if I've got a wound that I just think is a bit tight, but I think it's not too tight that I'm going to damage the blood supply, it's called the near-far stitch or the far-near stitch, doesn't matter. Let's call it the far-near to start with. I've gone far away from the wound, and then I come quite close to the wound on the other side. See if I can make this happen on this little simulation. So, quite a long distance away, quite a short distance away from the wound edge. What I'm then going to do is do the opposite, and I'm going to go close to this wound and far away on the other side. So now what I've got is a loop. If I go through that loop on here and pull it through, if you look there, can you see now I've got a series of pulleys happening, and those pulleys, as I bring that together, snug everything down. I don't even have to tie it. It's already brought the wound together and I've not even closed it. That's really cool, and what that does, it distributes the forces and it allows the wound to snug together without any difficulty. So we can now cut that too. So that's the pulley stitch. You can do other types of mattress sutures, and we'll do one more where we're going to do a horizontal one, where you come in from here, you come in the other side. I'm just trying to get this material to do what I want it to do. And on this situation now, I'm coming in and making my horizontal square. And you can see the difference between the first one where we went back in at the same point. On this one, I've moved further along. And now I've got what's called a horizontal mattress. The mattress is this way as opposed to this way. And every time I'm putting my knots in, I'm trying to keep them square. So I'm making sure by square, there, you can see on the picture, that's what I mean by a surgical knot, or a knot that's completely square and a lovely little circle. And I've got my wound closed again. So you can experiment with these, try them all, and certainly have a go at the pulley stitch and see how you get on. Now this time we'll do the same pulley stitch, but we'll go near the wound, and then we'll come out far on the other side, so quite away on the other side. And then what we'll now do is reverse that by going from the far side to the near side. And there's our loop, we bring the stitch through the loop, and now as we snug that down, watch happens to the wound.
Yeah.
Wow, it's come together. How nice is that? And then you can just close. You almost don't need to actually knot it, because it's done it for you. And that's because we've used the concept of the stitch acting as its own support. Done.